Hello. Oh, that's why it looked different. Oh no, I put the link in the wrong place. I'll put it on the Zoom rather than the YouTube. There you go. That's muted. Okay, I can hide chat now. What's this? Close. Yeah. So hi. As always, sorry for the unannounced change of time. It really is best to subscribe and click the notification button so you can be warned of me going live, because I can't make a set time at the minute, so it's going to be a mixture of morning, afternoon if I can, or evening. So yeah, yeah, just the way it is. Yeah. So I apologize because I know how that can be a bit annoying. But at the same time, I also know that I can't not do it this way at the minute. That's just how it's happening, and the way that makes it easy and more natural if I just do it when I can, as opposed to having a set time that I have to stick to. So yeah. Anyway, here we are. So you can join through the Zoom. The link's now in the chat box, or you can just watch through YouTube. So I'll do the introduction, and then you're welcome to ask any questions. Yeah, just give it a minute or two for people to join, and then I'll start. My water, let's put it here. I'm not in the most comfortable location either. I'm on the stairs. Not ideal, but it is how it is. So welcome to this talk. So what we're talking about here is something quite extraordinary. We're talking about something that is obvious, and by obvious, I mean not obvious as in it's obvious for you to understand or obvious for you to, not obvious in that sense, but obvious as in it's the only thing that is. I'm talking about something that is, not something that's made up or something that is created or imagined or yeah, and talking about something that naturally is. And it's extraordinary because, or magical, because it's not something that you can get hold of. So it's not something you can learn and get hold of. So in this, let's say, human experience, everything is grab holdable or has quality, so you can name and label and know and be in a kind of relationship with. You can think about it as a separate thing. So you can think about this body, you can think about this tree, this wall, this stairs, this hair. You can think about it, you can give it labels of qualities, and you can say this is green and this is black, or this is over here, that's over there. But what is being spoken about in non-duality isn't something that is like that. It isn't of a certain quality, or isn't over there or over here, or isn't green or black, or it isn't this or that, or it's not anything. It has no quality, it has no position, it has no ability to be confined into a limitation called a thing. And that's really, really wonderful, really wonderful. It can seem inconsequential or insignificant to the mind. So what, I can't have it or know it or duo with it. It can seem like that to the mind. Like, what's the point in that? What does it do for me then? If I can't get it or know it or have it or see it or anything, then it seems quite, oh, it's nothing important. It's just flippant. It's just not for me. And yeah, I mean, in a way, it is not for you, but I mean, that's really not actually what's being spoken about. That's the mind and the mind's position, and the mind has its own agenda and its own ideas of what life is and what it's doing, and so it can't use it for its life, for its purpose. So it's, or whatever, move on. But that's not actually the way it is. The way the mind sees things, interprets things, isn't what's actually being spoken about. Something that can't be owned or known or had is beauty. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Because it is, and it doesn't need anything. It doesn't require anything, because it can't be had, it can't be lost, it can't be fought over. It can't be moved. It can't be not present. It can't be missing. It can't be lessened, added to. It's just perfection. It's perfection. So in the human world, we can add and fight over and tear and take and all of that. But this is beyond that, beyond that play of things. And that is magical. That's beautiful. That it can't be had by human minds, human hands. So yeah, so what is being spoken about? So what's being spoken about is this dream or this appearance of form and this appearance of happening, this appearance of this is happening, that is happening, this appearance of perception, this appearance of form. And how, while that is happening for the human, so the body's alive, and while that appearance is happening of form, of things happening, there can be this story or this movement to move towards happiness, to move towards a better place. And that's inherent in being alive, being a living thing. So we wanted to move out of poverty, we want to move into prosperity, into safety, have a home, not all of us do, but most of us want to have a home, have food, a reliable, consistent food supply. We want to have means to trade, to do recreational activity, to have relationships. So we seem to want to move towards pleasure, happiness, contentment. But what seems to have happened is we believe that in that movement to better, to improve circumstances, we believe that in that movement, in that pleasure, we can find this permanence, happiness, this true happiness, this true contentment. We believe when we're searching for the next thing, we believe that's going to really do it, and it'll be a final a final arriving at this constant contentment and happiness and peace and joy. And so in this, I guess, non-duality shift, this awakening shift, there's this recognition that that's never going to happen in that story of you, in your life story, your life circumstances. That's never going to end in you, that character, you, that person, you, that storyline, arriving at a place of contentment and happiness and consistentness. And I think as well with old age, you begin to realize this after years and years of this seeking, hunting, this getting the next thing and then the next thing and then the next thing, and then you begin to clock on in to some degree. Hang on, this isn't going anywhere. This is like a hamster wheel. What's going on? uh, just think about old people on their deathbeds, and they just have this realization of like, oh, life was where it was at, not in this like future, hunting for this future thing. um, but anyway, so what's being suggested is that, and here it comes. This is it. This is the, this is it. This is it. Not again, not as in how the mind might hear that as, oh, this is it. There's no point in doing anything, or in, this is it. This is the lot. It's not like that. Not in a defeatist manner. This is it. There's no point in doing anything or trying anything, or that defeatist energy or interpretation, where the mind's taking that on as a belief, or as something it believes in, a concept it believes in. But this is it, as in as in this is it, as in as in this is sorry, as in this is it, as in what's being looked for can never be found in time, can never be found in the mind, and the what's seeming to be happening in the world, in your world, is never in that. So that's going to go on doing this, doing that, but actually what's being looked for when there's this seeking to find peace or happiness, or find the end of suffering, it's right here. It's right here, the end of suffering. It's right here in what is happening. It's right here in what is not happening. It's right here as everything. It's right here as not a thing. It's just right here. This is it. This is it. And the mind comes in that and tries to understand that, tries to make sense of that, tries to have that as a concept. But that's never going to be it. That's always going to be a concept, a thought appearing, an idea appearing. And what's being spoken about is actually the direct experience, that the direct happening of what is. The direct happening of what is. That this is happening. And there's something that isn't a something, but it's not happening. Something that is not happening, but it's also happening at the same time, also is at the same time. And you can't learn this. Any learning of this would be an appearance, a form, a thought happening. A thought about this, a concept about this, a narrative about this. And that's okay, that happens. We are thinking instruments, think thoughts seem to appear. We don't know where, but they appear. We assume it's the brain, but we don't know. But nevertheless, thoughts happen, thinking happens. But that's a limitation. Thought is a limitation. And there's something that isn't limited here. That isn't limited. It seems to appear as limitation, as things happening, as objects, but it isn't limited. You can't grab hold of it. And while that's so beautiful and so freeing and liberating, it can also be troublesome. It can also create lots of troublesomeness in the thinking mind. Not like it creates it, but it's like doesn't create it. It's there anyway. It's just that it's exposing that. It's like this torch has been can't say that word, shone, and then it highlights these ideas, these beliefs that are saying the opposite, that are saying I am someone, I exist as someone. It just highlights that, so it can create all kinds of different thoughts around that, and opposition, and emotions, and all kinds of stuff. And this seems to be the process that happens, this undoing, this unveiling, this unwinding of the identification. Oh, my hands are all bitty. Yeah, this seems to be the process, this light shining and this unwinding that happens in the body, mind, and emotion mind. And it's not easy, that part, the unwinding, the undoing, the sacrifice, the crucifixion, however you want to describe it. It's not easy. It's not free of a pain and all kinds of stuff, experiences, ideas, drama. But it just seems to be what happens for lots of humans, this going through this seeming process, this seeming undoing. It's so beautiful. It doesn't lead anywhere. That there is this, there is here, there is that which is, but it's something that happens in the mind, in the body. It's an undoing story, raveling story. It's just what happens. And it's actually quite humbling. It's actually quite humbling. Because of course you could think, the mind could think that it is this, or it has this, or it knows this, And so that awakening process undoes this identification, this position of I, this position of me, this position of my position. Yeah, so it's really humbling to get dragged through it all. Get dragged through it. Yeah. And here we are, this freedom. Simply this freedom. This freedom, this liberation from this time bound, thought bound, emotion bound, story bound, identity, person. And when I say freedom from it, I don't necessarily mean the end of I don't necessarily mean the end of some call it character. I don't mean that, or the end of the human experience, but it's the end of that human experience being true. But yeah, so if you'd like to ask any questions, then feel free to enter Zoom now, or you can communicate in the chat. Please put Q or question, so I know that that's a question for me to address and not just a comment that you want to express yourself. Oh yeah, it's on my email. I had a question sent to me. Not had much time to. It's in my email. I'll just get it. Oh. I thought I had it. Where's my email gone? Oh, okay, it's here. From Lisa. I won't say where she lives. USA, I'll say that. So, hi Kelly, my name is Lisa. I live in USA. I have been listening. Just check on the. Sorry, just check on the Zoom. Make sure no one's trying to get into the Zoom. No, okay. I have been listening to your talks off and on now for several years. I feel a resonance of something deep and beautiful, but I struggle with being open to it. I wonder what I would be getting myself into. Sometimes I feel if I delve into this, it's going to drastically change my relationships with my family. One feeling is possibly rejection from them or me in their life. I'm a mom. I'm a mom. Sorry, I can't say it, the American mom. I'm a mom. Mom. Yeah, of two young adults. one in college, one in high school. I've noticed you have kids in a few of your videos. Has your relationships changed with the people in your life after getting into non-duality? What's it like being a parent with this subject in mind? If you don't mind me asking. Thanks kindly, Lisa. Hi, Lisa. Okay, I have to read that again now. I feel a resonance of something deep and beautiful. Yeah, yeah, that's beautiful, yeah. And it really is deep and it really is beautiful. But I struggle with being open to it. I wonder what I would be getting myself into. Sometimes I feel if I delve into this, it's going to drastically change my relationships with my family. Yeah, so you're afraid of losing your family, you're afraid of what might happen if you delve into this, if you're open to this fully, then you're afraid of what you're going to lose. What you're going to lose. One feeling is possibly rejection from them or me in their life. Yeah, maybe you're all alone and abandoned. So a lot of fear around that. I'm a mom of two adults, one in college, one in high school. I've noticed you have kids in the 3 videos. Has your relationship changed with the people in your life after getting non-duality? Um, um, I don't have a lot of people in my life. I have to admit, I don't really have lots of people that I'm in relationship with. But the few people that I am, has it changed? I think a lot has changed due to non-duality, but also due to other things as I learn more about other things like psychology stuff, as I learn more about being neurodivergent. A lot of things have improved and changed in that respect. In non-duality specifically, um, yeah, I'd say a lot changes in that. A lot changes in that. The fundamental change is in it's hard to like the words are like the fundamental change is in like who you are, like who you are. So you aren't this, you aren't limited to being a character. That's the fundamental change, really. You aren't you aren't really a character. You aren't really a person in the play anymore. So although when you are in relationship with people, family, friends, you obviously there is that play of that. The characters there. You are playing as someone that knows this person, has a history with this person. That's there, but that isn't who you are. That isn't who you are. So it's very freeing and liberating. Maybe not to the other people who you're relating to. Maybe it is as well for them, but maybe not necessarily for them. They may see you as your character, how it is. You may seem more extreme. You may seem more yourself, more natural. I don't know. It depends really, but the fundamental change is more internally. It's more like, yes, it's the internal thing. It's a changeful thing. And I say internally in a in quotes, because obviously it's not internally, but internally in the sense that it's not necessarily an exhibitionist thing where you can show, oh yeah, I'm free, because that isn't true. It's not you're free. It's just there's this freedom, and this is happening in freedom. So the person who you're speaking to is also freedom. Everything is happening in freedom. The ground is freedom. The room, the park, whatever it is freedom. All of this is, it's a change. It's a change that happens. Yeah. Like, rather than being in the movie, in the film, and feeling as if you're in the film, it's like the film is in you, like it's in you. It's not, yeah. So yeah, so but I mean, relationships, human relationships are difficult anyway. They are difficult. If you have a pet, it's so much easier, but with other humans have language, communication, thinking. It's just so complicated and difficult, and it's not going to ever be easy, I don't think, for most people, relating to other people, because we seem to have our own ideas about things, our own perceptions about things, perspectives about things, our own conditioning, our own needs, our own wants, our own, makeup. So it's going to be complicated and difficult in relationships. So obviously that's not where freedom is found. I think as you heal, so through therapy, through psychology, through knowing yourself better, you can improve things on that level. You can improve how you relate to people and how you interact with people. You can learn certain tools and techniques and become better at that. But I really feel like as you as you're not coming from the person so much, you're not coming from the mind so much, then I think there can be an improvement to a degree, because you aren't suffering that as much as you may have done before. You aren't there suffering around your stories, around who they are, who you are, how it should be, what it shouldn't be. That isn't such a, there's still pain about things that happen, but it's not such a, it doesn't impact upon your freedom, on what freedom is. It doesn't impact on what the experiencer of this is, what's living this. It isn't bound up in your story of who you are and who the other and the world and this and that. So naturally it's gonna be different. What's it like being a parent? But sorry, that's that. So the non-duality part is like, it's the best part, because it's talking about freedom, liberation, freedom. So it's the best thing. It's the best part. It's the best part. It's the best part. All the other things, relationships and this and that, I would say really are secondary issues. I really would say that non-duality is the primary thing, the primary place. Freedom, liberation is the primary thing. All the other things can be improved, it can be dealt with, it can be whatever. But the primary is in freedom, is in what is true here, is in what is thought here. What's it like being a parent with this subject in mind? Being a parent is being a parent. Being a parent is, I don't know what being a parent. I do know a bit more now. My kids are like 10 and 11, so I obviously had to adjust hugely to being a parent and what that is. What it is being a mother, like that's been had a huge impact. Having been single, I was married, but single for a long time, and married, but single as in not having any dependence or responsibilities like that. So yeah, it's been a huge adjustment and change being a parent. with this subject in mind. I think with this subject in mind, a lot of fear came up around not being able to parent appropriately. I fear about like my kids being different and weird because I'm different and weird. I don't know what else. Just like, yeah, fears around yeah, lots of normal parental fears, I suppose. Yeah. But I really think they're just normal fears and thoughts as a parent that come up as being a parent and responsible for others. You're going to have thoughts around their care and how to do it and all of that. But I've also learned a lot as well from being a parent. I do. And it's going to be lifelong learning about being a parent and having to step up to certain things and learning to express things to them. And yeah, so it's a real journey, Yeah, not easy, but it's a real journey. But this is more like the human experience. Like, it's not really, I don't know, I don't think it's really relevant to what's being spoken about. So to bring it back to what's being spoken about in non-duality, it's like who are these children? Like, who is looking out of these children? Who is behaving in that way that the child is behaving? I think actually being a parent in non-duality, I feel like it really brings you to, like, maybe initially you can be all up in your head with it all and, oh, there's no one here and da, 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 da. But actually being a parent, have to function in the world, you really are brought back down to the actual reality of it, and you're forced to live and deal with actual what's going on in your circumstances. And yeah, I suppose you're I say I rather than you. I suppose I've had to really get real about it and really, yeah, get real about it. Yeah, like be real about this practicalness of being human, not be like in the head around all these lofty ideas around it, but actually I have to feed the children. I have to do these jobs around the house. I have to do this child rearing. Um, yeah, it's just been a part of the um, human identity. I'm a mother, a parent, but it's also not true. Like it's a part of the identity. I'm a parent, I'm a mother, but that's just something that you say. You just say that and you just tick the parent box, the mother box, but and you are the body's doing these actions around mothering and caretaking, but actually, like, it's really not true. This idea of being a mother, and like even with my kids, it's like this idea of I'm the mother, I know better, I'm more experienced than you, or I'm in a way it's true, but in another way it's really not true. It's really, I tell my kids all the time, like, I don't know, I have no idea, I don't know. This is what I heard, but I don't know. No one knows. Like, it's really like, yeah, it's really, yeah, It's humbling. It's humbling. I think being a father, I'm guessing, is different. I think being a mother is a different role to being a father. Not always, obviously, some fathers have a different role, some mothers have a different role, but generally speaking, I think being a mother is different. There's more responsibility, there's more emotional support required or expected. It's a different thing when you're a mother. Yeah. So I've got no advice in terms of how to deal with that. I mean, you know as much as I do about being a parent, you know, you don't know how to do it. You just do your best. You just do your best, really. You just do your best to mess them up and condition them, and you know, you can't be responsible for that. It's too big. How can you control all of life? You can't. You can't. So in that sense, it's a big giving up of control as well. I think, like it being a parent, you think you need to control everything, but non-duality really is like a lifesaver in a way. Like you really get to question like all of this, and so yeah, it's really a challenge, but it's really beautiful to be in this subject while parenting or anything, you know, working in a job or having a family or seeing your parents, or it's always a challenge to be in this subject and to live it, be true to it, allow life to unfold the way it unfolds and to be the way it is, and to just be open to that, really. Yeah. There's one teacher, I can't remember her name now, but she said that she couldn't fully open to this message until her children had moved out and moved on and grown up, sort of thing. I can understand that. I think to a degree I can. I'm not sure. I don't know. Yeah, I can see that the investment in the children is there until they're able to fend for themselves, and you know they left home. I don't know. I don't know. I don't see it as a hindrance. I just see it as difficult, but not a hindrance. In fact, it could also be a real strong thing to go through as well. Like it could help, not help awakening. I mean, help as in you open to everything, every experience thrown at you. Like you're open to life happening, open to screaming and crying and being exhausted and like shouting and all sorts of things, human things. Yeah, I think you're forced to really be human. You're forced us to be human and not be this spiritual ego or something. Yeah. Anyway, I hope that's kind of been useful or not, or helpful or not, or interesting or not. I've waffled on quite a bit there. It's an interesting question, so thank you. And yeah, I have no, yeah, okay, thank you. Thank you, Lisa. Anyone still there? I don't know. I'm on my email, put a log out of that now. Okay. Okay. Crazy Ed, how would you suggest healing trauma in a psychological context? Sorry, Eddie, I didn't know you were in. I'm sorry. I was yeah locked in that conversation with him. Lisa, sorry. If you try again, well, maybe that was you. Yeah, would you suggest healing trauma in a psychological context, or focusing on non-duality for healing first? Non-duality for healing first. Yeah, I would think they're two separate things. I would say which to do first. I wouldn't say there's first or a last. I would say just maybe do both of them. Um, do both of them, maybe. If you feel you need to have healing for trauma, then you should do that as well. But then non-duality is something else. It's something that's not about you, you and your story, you and your trauma, you and your healing. It's not about that. So I would say do that if you need that, and then also listen to non-duality and hear that, hear that, like hear that, which is beyond you, beyond the narrative of you. So yeah, both together. And would you say it's possible living authentic and near to true nature without a non-dual shift though? Sorry, shift through, so to speak, being healed and having a healthy ego. Sorry. And would you say it's possible living authentic and near to true nature without a non-dual shift? Uh, yeah, I think you can try and live. Like people say, "Oh, be yourself, be yourself." I think you can try and be yourself and live, as you put it, near to your true inner nature. But I wouldn't. I don't know what that is. Like the person who you, this person, it can only be a person. It can't really be anything other than a person. It can't be near to its true nature. It can only be a character, sorry, a person, a limited person, an idea, a thought. Um, so to speak, being healed and having a healthy ego. I'm not sure what the end part means, but no, but they're two separate things. They're two separate things. I don't know how clearer to express that. So you, by I mean you as in this narrative of you, this idea of you, this story of you who is this, is that, has come here, does this, who's listening now. This is not true. That's not a real person, but that's taken to be who you are. So that you isn't true. It's not a person. It's not a real entity, but it feels like it is when it feels like it is. So that person, that you, can't be close to its true nature. It can't be anything other than a person. It can be a happier person. It can be a healthier person. It can have all these ideas and things, and it can understand its psychology, and it can do all these really good things that seem to help and make life easier. But it's always going to be a person. It's always going to be in thought. It's always going to be in ideas. Always going to be on this train of time, on this train of getting somewhere, of seeking somewhere, something else. Um, so that function of a person can't, it can't, it's not really relevant to non-duality. That's why I say go, that's something separate. Go to those sorts of things separately to non-duality. That's not linked to non-duality. Non-duality doesn't see that person as an actual person. So you may have stories about being healthy or not healthy. I have stories of I feel healthier, I feel happier, I feel clearer on stuff psychologically, but that's not true. That's not real. That's not like real. It's just a way of speaking. It's not actually real or reality. It's just thinking and thoughts and ideas. It's a totally different thing. Totally different thing. It's not to shame it or to say it's bad or you shouldn't do that. It should be non-dual. That's bypassing. I think those things can be looked at and improved on in some way. It's bizarre, but it can be looked at and dealt with, and emotional release stuff and all of that. But non-duality is something else. It's something else. But I think while there is that seeming person, while it feels like you are a person and it feels as if you are that which is moving in time, and it feels like you are in the head, it feels like you are that, you are someone, you are alive as someone, and life's happening to you. While it feels like that, then and it feels like it's painful or there's stuff you need to work on, then yeah, work on that stuff as well. It's never gonna maybe end because you are you aren't like reality, so you're gonna appear as this story and disappear and appear and then disappear and appear and seeking and trying to get to and all of this stuff. But yeah, it's a weird thing, but it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. If you feel you need that, then yeah, I'd say go and do that. But non-duality is pointing to that which is free. It's free and isn't dependent upon you, whatever your story is of healthy, not healthy, happy, not happy. It doesn't depend on any of that. Got nothing to do with any of that. Got nothing to do with you. It's just this freedom that is. It's just this freedom that is. It's not personal to any person. It just is. It allows this. It is this. I think like for therapy and that kind of stuff, it's helpful to you. It's helpful to you. Non-duality isn't helpful to you. Crazy edge. You can explore both simultaneously, but not mixing them. Yeah, you can explore both simultaneously. I think you're always probably going to mix them. I think while the mind's identified, the mind is going to mix them. The mind's going to think non-duality is for you, me, you. It's gonna make it personal. It can only really do that. So it's gonna mix them. It's gonna think this is about me. That's part of this unfolding. You can't really avoid that. But I'll just say that just to, the warning and the message is saying it's not for you, but the person will always only think it is for itself because it can't think any other way. So yeah. So there is still you stuff going on in your experience, and it has nothing to do with non-duality. So there is still you stuff going on in your experience, and it has nothing to do with non-duality. In another way, everything is non-duality. Everything is non-duality. Non-duality isn't something, it's everything. It's not a thing and it's everything. So there's nothing that can't be non-duality. Everything is non-duality. So this idea of you stuff, like what would that be? What would you stuff be? They're just ideas and thoughts. So in one way, you say ideas and thoughts are this. They are everything, but they're just not true. They're just not true. This isn't anyone's experience. Not to be finicky and funny with language, but it really isn't anyone's experience. It really isn't. There were thoughts and feelings and things seeming to happen. And the mind takes these things as being personal, as being true, as being my stuff. There's somebody who's having these thoughts and feelings. But that's just part of the mind. It's just part of the mind. Was it you who rang in earlier? Feel free to rejoin Zoom if you'd like to speak. Because this is really like paradoxical. Like in one way you can say it this way, you can say it in that way, and it's to the mind it's like complicated, and it's yeah, and it is because language is like that, but it really isn't complicated. It's really simple, that this is it, that this is all there is. But then in human language we say things like I and you in human language, so it can seem confusing. I also accept that I don't speak as clear anymore. Like I don't stick to simplified non-duality language anymore either. I kind of mix it up a little and just speak normally. So I kind of can see how that can complicate things as well. Saying you for emptiness and calling it you are that, you are that. Like who is that? But it's just, I think when the heart thing happened here, it just kind of like it knocked out all those non-duality like ideas and like rules, and it became like it didn't give a shit, it just didn't care anymore and just wanted to express the joy and love of it. It's like rebelling against non-duality, even just like no, I want just to speak and just let it come out the way it comes out all over the place. Like it's like yeah, perhaps I have some idea of parameters, but it's like just saying whatever comes out, like just this, and it doesn't matter so much anymore, the language of it. But I do get it's important as well. Like I do get, particularly if you're new to the subject, it's quite important that you are very you know, more accurate maybe in language, but at some point you kind of like Oh, you just get eaten, and you just say, oh, you just begin to hear it in different ways, and it doesn't matter so much. You can just resonate with it because it isn't in that. It's not in the mind. It's not in the intellect. It doesn't matter what you say or what you don't say or how you say it, or it's beyond that. It's beyond that. It's really beyond that. You could say anything. It doesn't matter. This matters. This matters. That which is matters. It isn't contained in words and language and the right language, the wrong language. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't take away from this. It doesn't take away from what this is. Nothing can. Nothing can. It's everything. It's everything. And it's not a thing. You can't find it. It just is. So beautiful. So beautiful. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Yes. Okay. So we shall leave it there. I got so much to ask. Oh, crazy Ed. Maybe next time you can ask more. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining in and for participating. Okay. Take care. Bye.